Dough, light, and quiet hunger. There is a morning in early autumn when the light in Rome feels like a promise someone left on the counter. Warm, soft-edged, and patient. I learned to notice those mornings because bread remembers them. The bakery ovens open on them as if yawning. The crusts take on a certain kind of bronze that makes customers linger, and the wilted basil on the windowsill perks up like a cat stretching. I had been rising with that light for as long as I can remember. I could tell you the exact rhythm of the shop before I could shave properly. Wake, knead, shove trays into the oven, slide them out with a prayer whispered through gritted teeth because the fire is as fickle as the sea. Dough is honest work. It tires you, but it tells you the truth. Too much flour and you have bread like a brick. Too little and it sulks and won't rise. You learn to listen to it. You learn to steady your hands and to steady yourself. The pizzeria was my father's friend's business. Small, a single oven that lived in the back like a warm heart. My mother had died before I turned 18. She used to make pizza on Sundays for the whole street. Her laugh still hangs in corners of my memory like a stray scarf. My room was above the shop. A mattress, a stack of faded cookbooks, a suitcase of shirts, and a window that looked onto the narrow lane where the pigeons took their own sweet time about everything. Some of the nights were so quiet, you could hear the city breathing. On a Tuesday in October, when the air had a razor-edged coolness to it, I was sliding a margarita into the oven. Simple things first, mastery of kind. You could make a person forget almost anything with the right crust. The bell over the door chimed that high, curious note that made me look up from my work. She stepped in like a roomer. Small suitcase, scarf knotted at her neck, eyes that moved slowly as if they were trying to learn how to be surprised. I always watch when new faces come in. It's not rudeness, it's a habit that began as practicality. Who ordered what, how much time to expect for a table, but it grew into something else, like curiosity with teeth. There are small moments in a day that sit like warm stones in the pockets of memory. The way the dough yields to your palm when it has been coaxed into life, the precise hiss of the oven when the door opens, the bell over the pizzeria door on a rainy Tuesday. After the first week, Sophia's bell became another kind of punctuation, an arrival that rearranged the air. She began coming at odd hours, sometimes near noon when the city felt like it was still waking, sometimes late when the lamps on the narrow street caught the slick of rain and made it glow like a ribbon. She liked the corner table by the window that faced the lane where old men argued about football and pigeons considered philosophies about breadcrumbs. She would take her pizza slowly, like a letter you read twice, and then sit for a long time with a pen poised over the battered notebook, or staring with a kind of attentive distance at the steam curling from her cup. At first, my approach was the same. Small talk, spare waiting on the customers, a joke about the oven temper. But there were silences between us that were not empty. They were shaped, as if something lived there and only waited to be noticed. One late night, when the kitchen lights had softened and my mother's old radio played a sleepy tune, she lingered after finishing the last slice. The rain had left the street polished, and the city smelled of wet stone and orange rinds. "You always work this late?" she asked, watching as I wiped the counter. "Always," I said. "It's quieter. I like when the city rests." "You look," she said slowly, as if tasting the words for the first time, "like someone who knows how to listen." It was a small compliment, oddly precise, and for a moment I let the towel fall from my hands. Listening was a skill I had practiced on dough and on my mother's old stories. I had not realized it showed on my face. I shrugged, the kind of gesture that means both humility and a quiet pride. "I suppose you could say that," I answered, "or maybe I just like the quiet." She smiled then, a brief, honest thing that seemed embarrassed to be so plain. The rain kept ticking against the window. For the first time since she began coming to the shop, She looked like she might trust the city and the people in it enough to sit still. Spring in Rome arrives with a conspiracy of light. Doorways seem brighter, the Tiber rides a calmer blue, and the lemon trees along the street begin to dream of blossom. The pizzeria filled with an air that was almost too sweet. Basil, warm dough, the faint perfume of orange flowers from the courtyard behind the shop. Even the oven seemed kinder in that season, as if the city itself wanted everything to come out golden. Sophia had become a piece of the daily pattern. The bell over the door, the way her pen paused above the notebook, the small, private smile when the first bite did what good food is meant to do, remind you that your body enjoys being comforted. The more I saw her, the less she felt like a visitor. She learned how I liked my coffee, short, hot, and how I tightened the corner of my mouth when I was thinking about a tricky dough. I learned the exact way she tucked a stray curl behind her ear when she was nervous. The world makes small contracts like that with people you are learning to love.